You're
Oh, there it is. Hey! We are live here on MCU Mondays. Glad to be here as always. My name's Chris. I'm the theme song guy. I'm here with my co-host Debbie, and we got David down in the corner as usual. And we're also joined today by Jeff, host, runner of the MCU's Bleeding Edge podcast. We had him on 2 weeks ago. Excited to have him on again today. We had a great chat last time. I'm looking forward to it. So very much looking forward to talking all about this last episode of What If. I remember when Jeff, when you were here last time, you were complaining a little bit about the Party Thor episode, and I said that episode, I was like, well, you know that's they're probably putting in a bunch of jokes now to lead up to like craziness. And episode 8 and episode 9 were both pretty heavy on the intense action, intense excitement. So very excited to talk about all that. And we also have some rumors before we get into the what if stuff. So we're going to talk about some rumors, some casting possibilities, some things that have just been confirmed about Guardians of the Galaxy. Very interesting stuff. And then we're going to close out, talk about Venom again. I've seen it now. Sorry. So Jeff, have you seen it?
Yeah.
You've seen it? Okay, great. So we've all seen it now. We're going to have a good time talking about that as we close out the show. But to get ourselves started, let's take it away with our theme song.
Theme song guy.
Oh yeah!
Here we are.
We're back.
So to begin, let's talk about some of those rumors, casting decisions that have been made. We don't have any real new trailers today other than the Eternals. We were mentioning it before the show. They've been throwing TV spots left and right, center. They're full force marketing on that. I mean, it comes out, like a couple weeks? Comes out November 5th. So
yeah,
they're ramping up that marketing, getting people to try and get focused on that. They don't need to ramp up marketing for Spider-Man. They're like, we don't need to do anything for that. People are going to see Spider-Man, okay? But
Spider-Man sells himself.
Spider-Man does that. There's so many webheads out there, absolutely. We're gonna wall crawl our way all the way to the movie theater. So not even a question. Yes, Spider-Man's gonna do well. Eternals, though, that is a unknown quantity as far as Marvel is concerned in the MCU. So they're really pushing this hard. And I gotta say, when I saw the first trailer, I was like, I'm more interested now. What are you guys thinking about the Eternals? Are you like hyped for it? Do you care? Jeff, tell me your thoughts on the Eternals. I know you're a big comics guy, right? So
Well, I mean, I am, but I'm not gonna. I don't like to BS about what I don't know about or I do know about. So when it comes to the Eternals, like a lot of Marvel comic book fans from back in the day, I never really messed with the Eternals. To be honest with you, I mean, just a little here and there, kind of like the same way that my relationship with Captain Marvel is with the comics. I just kind of like a little bit here and there. I'm reading the Hawkeye series right now. That they're, basically, I guess they're doing the Disney Plus series off of.
Right.
I forget that Matt Fraction, I think it's called. He's called. But anyways, as far as the Eternals go, Chloe Zhao, that name is like, if you were gonna pick a name for like the ideal SJW or whatever name, that's it right there. So I'm just concerned that it's going to end up being like a woke fest. Like that's what I'm kind of like a little bit concerned that that's how things could end up going, just based off some of the stupid humor that I've seen in some of the trailers. That's not that last trailer, the second trailer that came out. Not any of the teaser stuff that's come out. Once I actually sat down and really like slowed it down and broke it down a little bit, it was pretty good. I liked it. But I'm still a little bit, iffy as far as how it's going to work out overall. I don't know if it'll do as well as potentially Shang-Chi did.
I would think it would do better. And also there's the question, will it be banned in China? for what reason, I don't know. But if it's not, then it definitely has an advantage on Shang-Chi there. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see how the Eternals does. They're definitely ramping up those trailers though. So what about David and Debbie? Either of you like excited or just like, well, I'm gonna see it, but I don't know. That's kind of what I am. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna see it.
I'm excited to see it. I don't know anything about the Eternals. I'm going to see Rob and Jon Snow. So, Game of Thrones, I'm excited. So a little bit eye candy. I can't deny that. So
it's not the actor's fault with what happened with that last season, all right? It's not their fault.
I don't blame them. But I did enjoy watching them. So
hey, that long night episode, I don't care how bad the ending of Game of Thrones was. That long night episode alone was just worth being a fan.
It was too dark, but it was
yeah.
I did a video where I lit it up, and I was just like, I wish I had been able to see this, and that. But once I watched it, actually, so I agree. Yeah, it was a great episode. So let's get to that casting announcement. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Adam Warlock has been cast. People were wanting Keanu Reeves, I think, for a long time for that role. They want him for any role all the time.
So. I was gonna say
they just want him in the MCU. That's all.
Yeah,
they want.
We want Keanu Reeves. He's gonna play Revan. I was like, okay, did you get that from a meme? I don't know what to tell you, but this is actually confirmed. James Gunn put out the official welcome, made the official statement. So, do you guys have any opinion on this casting, on this actor? I haven't seen him in that much. I think he did fine in whatever I saw him in, but do you think he's good for this role? Any opinion?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to make any judgments until I've seen it because, everybody gave Heath Ledger a bunch of crap when they casted him as the Joker. And
they did the same thing with Affleck when they cast him as Batman.
Yes. So it's just a wait and see for me.
Yeah.
Well, after Daredevil,
Yeah.
trepidation on Ben Affleck in a superhero movie.
Affleck was really good as Batman, I thought, too. In Snyder Cut, he was dope.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed his the Batfleck.
I still to this day enjoy sitting down and watching Daredevil. I don't care what anybody says.
I like him in Daredevil.
Fun movie. Mm-hmm. I thought it was good.
Do you think that maybe they'll make a movie with Charlie Cox as Daredevil in the MCU, David? Do you think that's a possibility?
I think that's one of those things to where the fans want it so bad that it's a possibility that they could say, it's kind of
we're going to make money off this. They want it.
They want it. Well, we know we're going to make money, and the fan base, based on just his portrayal of Daredevil, is big enough to where they can say, "Yeah, we can."
Shut up and take my money.
There you go. I mean, even if they said, "Okay, we're going to do a movie, but it's going to be straight to Disney Plus," it'll still be part of the MCU, but it'll straight to Disney Plus kind of thing. Even if they did a miniseries.
Well, I heard. Now, I can't remember if this was confirmed or not, but I heard John Barenthal's Punisher was being remade or like brought under he's going to have something new from Disney. I think that I heard that was happening.
He wants to come back. He wants to come back and play the character. He wants to be a part of the MCU. There's nothing concrete in terms of them actually putting a show together for him or anything yet. And I gotta wonder, Chris, how is the Punisher going to work on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. So it's rumored. I'm seeing rumors when I just searched it. It's rumored to return. So take that with a grain of salt. But again, I think he did a pretty good job as the Punisher. I enjoyed that. But that is the thing. I just rewatched Daredevil, and I was like, this is bloody. Like, this is whoa, yeah, like how, like, and that's, you don't really see that kind of like R-rated thing so much from Disney. Now they do have Daredevil, and that's why I was concerned about what's going to happen with Daredevil. But I think they're going to do well by it. I mean, it's not like they're incapable of producing R-rated things, but they just have this, we're a family company. Well, produce under one of your other studios. Like, I don't care. Like, slap a different name on it so that people aren't like, well, it's the Disney film. But you still have stupid people, like the moms that brought their kids to see Deadpool, and then they're like, what is this? And I'm like, an R-rated film.
It's R-rated.
I think Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige, they're not tone deaf. They understand the fan base and the culture and the fandom and everything, and like they know what people want. And at the end of the day, I think that they would almost be stupid to try to mess up what worked on Netflix with Marvel Television. Like, why would you even try to like go off that model when it worked?
They could even go so far. Chris, you were saying something about the it's bloody and Disney Plus won't do that. Fine, don't release it on Disney Plus. Put it on Hulu.
Yep.
Hulu will take it, and that's partnered. I don't know if they're owned by or partnered ridiculously close with Disney. They may be owned by them.
Disney owns a small part of them.
There you go. So put them on Hulu. Say, okay, you want to watch Daredevil, you want to watch Ghost Rider or Punisher or The Defenders, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. You got to get Hulu now. Now you've got to get Disney Plus and you've got to get Hulu if you want the whole story.
It's almost like they love money. Getting to the bottom of this.
Hulu's not a bad deal. I get a lot out of my Hulu. Honestly, I get more out of my Hulu than any of my other streaming services. I don't really watch Netflix that much, other than the MCU stuff, or not the MCU, but the Marvel stuff. And I barely ever even touch my Amazon or my HBO Max.
Oh, I watch them all.
And as far as Disney
Hulu,
Plus
Netflix,
and
Disney, I watch them all.
They have confirmed some shows like spin-off, like Agatha from
I saw that.
getting her own series, and I just saw this rumor Howard the Duck animated series. I'm like, how many is everyone going to get the series? Like, oh, everyone get Howard the Duck, you're getting a series. Like, okay, first of all, who wants that?
Well, everybody has a comic book series, so why not?
Yeah.
Boom.
You get a series. You get a series. You get a series. Everybody.
They made a series about MODOK, so why wouldn't they make one about Howard the Duck?
I'm excited for the Agatha one. I love Catherine Hahn.
She's good. I don't know. Well, that show could be interesting. I wonder when it takes place. Like, is it going to take place before WandaVision, after WandaVision, with seeing what she's in prison and getting out, or like a combination of the two?
That would be wow. So putting her in a prequel of WandaVision, why did you do this? Why did you set Wanda up to do this? Why did you force her to make the Scarlet Witch? That would be Mephisto confirmed.
He's
right
in
there.
it. That's golden opportunity.
But I think the prequel idea would be a good.
That's where they're going to go with it. I would almost imagine, David. That's what my thoughts would be, is that it's going to be some kind of origin story type deal. You know what I mean? And kind of set up the character from how she got to that point. And that may be very well how they will. Like, I mean, I don't know. The fact that the Darkhold is actually a part of the MCU, I don't want to like make a big deal out of it. But I think people are really sleeping on that right now. Like, a lot of like newer fans that don't know what the Darkhold is are like, whatever about it, but in reality, it's really a major pivotal thing that's actually a part of the MCU now, and Wanda has it.
Yeah, people had no understanding of the significance of it. Just like a book, who cares?
I mean, that can bring in Ghost Rider, which I'm still holding out for Ghost Rider. That was my favorite comic when I was a kid. I used to read my brother's comics.
Good call, Debbie. That was always one of my favorites. When I was a kid.
And that was my favorite one. So I keep holding my breath that they'll bring in a Ghost Rider, because I was really disappointed when they canceled Robbie Ray's series.
So was that on its own, or I know I saw it during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There was like did he have his own?
Yeah, he was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but he was supposed to get his own series on Hulu.
And then Disney,
And then about that time, Disney took over, and
they were confirmed. They were like, we're launching our streaming service. If people are watching our characters, they're going to be doing it on our service. And that's when they started pulling like the Netflix shows. You stopped seeing that. Yeah, exactly. So it will be interesting to see if like, now that they're announcing a show for every person left, right, and sideways, maybe we can get some of the Netflix people back, especially after like Multiverse of Madness. You were talking about Ghost Rider. I'm like, that would be a great place to, because they're already talking about vampires and werewolves and the horror aspect of different things from like Throw in a Ghost Rider.
Well,
The Flaming Skull.
Even Blade's coming out
Metal.
too.
Yeah.
And you wanna talk about a horror based thing? You got Blade coming out, and what's I can't think of his name now with Jared Leto. Morbius. Morbius is coming out. Yes,
and he's going to be in the MCU too.
That wouldn't surprise me. After Venom, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Because they said initially, oh, he's part of the Spider-Man universe. Well, now the Spider-Man universe is part of the MCU.
I don't see how they don't end up doing the Midnight Suns. I think that's the next step. I think they end up having Doctor Strange. That's why I see Doctor Strange as being like, and Benedict Cumberbatch being like a huge pivotal aspect of the MCU for for a long time, like maybe 10 years, just because he's going to be the go between with the whole horror angle or side of the MCU, and I can't wait for that.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be Multiverse of Man. Everyone's like flipping out over Spider-Man, but I'm just sitting here going like, get out of here so I can go see Multiverse of Man.
Give me Strange. I want Strange.
Frothing at the bit for that. You want some Strange? All right, this
Yeah.
guy's looking for Strange over here. This is Black Widow. Okay. One last little rumor that casting possibly joining the MCU. Bill Murray. There was a casting list released for it was Quantumania, and Bill Murray was on there. How big of a role? How big of a? I have no idea.
He's Mephisto.
But well, there it is. There it is. Oh my god, that would be insane.
Or maybe old Cap.
Mephisto variant.
Oh, come on.
I think I read in the rumor it said something about Dust Bunny or something like that. And given that it's Ant-Man and that's Bill Murray and he's just him and Paul Rudd. Are you kidding me? That's going to be like a laugh fest. But Bill Murray is another person. I'm like, cool, sweet. That's Bill Murray's awesome.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay. Well, that's about it, I think, for the different rumors and casting announcements that I had. So let's get into talking about What If. What If season finale. Pretty good. A lot of action, a lot of spells and sorcery and magic and twists and what? You put Killmonger on the team? Isn't he gonna be evil? Yeah,
that's what I said.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's what I thought too.
all the way up until the end when they announced what it was doing. I was like, why did you take him? He is evil.
We have a special guest. Whoa!
Oh, look at there.
Oh, we're in trouble now.
Somebody's
David.
I have hacked the transmission.
He's in our system.
I
He's in
am
your
the
head.
system. Hey,
What's up,
I
David?
wanted to come in here, crash the party for a couple of minutes. Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah, man, you got a real infectious energy, and I dig the vibe that you're doing here. So we've been talking a little bit over the last couple of days, but I'd like to crash the party to formally offer you a spot with Geek News now. If you want in, just say yes, and you got it.
Oh, well, I mean, I basically already said yes, man.
Well, basically, yeah, but this is the formal, official crashing the show just to say, let's get you on board.
Oh, well, you know what? That's really heartwarming and everything. Like, I'm really touched by the gesture and whatnot, you can, if you want to play one of your little memes right now, somebody crying or something like that, Chris, you could go ahead and drop it now. But no, I really appreciate that.
Lobot was in tears there. You couldn't see it from all the dancing.
Exactly, yeah.
He's crying, dancing. It's a cry dance. So,
But yeah, the rest of the team is really excited and everything and whatnot. And I think that once we actually start making some content and we actually get it over to you and start to, connect what we do to like what you guys are doing, I think that it'll become like more of a tangible thing. And, then like they'll actually understand the gravity of the situation, I guess.
yeah, starting tomorrow, I'll get you an email address with the organization, and I'll reach out to you to talk some the particulars and the details. We got a couple of groups we got to get you into. We got to go through the whole initiation rites. There are dues. We got to talk about paying dues like David and Debbie offer up. And, we got,
I'm up to $1,000 a month.
Hazing.
I don't know where
the hazing
There's a
rituals.
slap machine you have to crawl through. It's a
Yeah, we'll start with a bottle of Jack. That'll be it's Gatorade. Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
yeah,
I'm start with that, but
I'm going non-alcoholic on this show. I didn't want to offend anybody. It's not my show, so
that's okay. This show offends on multiple levels anyway, so don't worry about it. It's all good.
Pretty much.
What are you talking about?
No idea. No idea.
Clue.
All right. Well,
We don't know what we did.
And that's what I have to put up with.
Debbie's a saint. I'm pretty sure she's going to be canonized.
As you can see, a rose between two thorns.
Whoa,
Thorn. Like that.
The show
if you're a female MCU fan and you do content or you podcast or whatever or live stream, you're going to be outnumbered by guys. It seems like pretty much all the time. It just seems how it works. So it's hard to get together like more than one female MCU fan on one show for me.
Well, I'll let y'all get back to it, but I wanted to formally, officially welcome Jeff into the GNN family that we got building here. Very excited to see you what you got going for us, man. It's going to be awesome.
Most definitely. I appreciate it.
Woo! 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 All right. That was fun. I didn't know that he was going to do that. He was just like, hey, can I get on the show for a sec? And I was like, I think I have to say yes. So.
That surprised the shit out of me, man.
That's in the... That's good. That's awesome stuff. Well, I'm glad that happened. Last week, I was looking to get you in these groups. So that's going to be happening tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
Cool.
But what if? Back to it. So yeah, the Watcher rounds up the different. So he's rounding up people. Kind of a weird team in some ways. And also, it was pretty clear which episode got axed from the season. It was whatever episode Gamora and Stark were in Sakaar, because it was like, hey, every single other one of these characters had an entire episode.
That's why there was the Sakaran Iron Man Lego set. Sakaran Iron Legion or whatever, and it was like I kept waiting, and I was like, where's this episode? And it was there in this one where he showed up.
Oh yeah, for like
not you, Tony, but you're Goman, and it's like,
well, at least he didn't get killed this time.
Yeah, somebody said that. They said this is the only one this is the only one so far where Tony hasn't died.
Tony doesn't die.
Woohoo!
He did it. It's an infinite multiverse. There's plenty where he didn't die. But anyway, he's not selected for the team. That was kind of a funny gag. Because Stark's like, I'm going to kick your ass. And the Watcher's like, shut up. I'm taking Gamora. I'm out of here. And so it's kind of like also, Doctor Strange.
Evil Doctor Strange.
But he really didn't seem evil in this.
No, he really wasn't. And even at the end,
I was so confused.
He was like, yeah, I got nothing better to do. Come on.
It's Supreme Strange, I think. That's what people are calling him. That's strange. It's Supreme Strange.
Yeah. And I think also having gone through what he went through, like, it wasn't necessarily evil, but that whole thing, like, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely. He does, at the end, kind of seem like, oh, I've got nothing better to do. Is he being villainous? Was that a villainous? I think that was villainous. He's like, can you watch over this reality? I've got nothing but time. Why did you say it like that? Made it sound like you were happy about your predicament. So that theory.
No, I think he's accepted his predicament. He realizes he screwed up and he was bad. He was the bad guy for a minute, and he made his bed. Now he's got to sleep in it. So he's right where he needs to be.
Do you think Debbie's theory that this Strange from What If is the one we see in Spider-Man? What do we think of that?
No, I don't think so.
Jeff says no.
No.
What?
I don't.
Wait, that's Chris's line. Chris has to do that, not you.
That could not be Doctor Strange. Maybe that's a scroll I mean, I don't know. Like maybe that's Mephisto. I have no idea, but that may not be Doctor Strange. But I don't think that that's like multiverse variant Strange or something like that. I don't think they'd go that way. But you know what? I could be wrong.
I mean, it is all about the multiverse, and in the trailer,
Right.
Strange is even saying the multiverse is a thing that, and even Supreme Strange, the one that we see in What If, it's not like he's multiverse hopping all the time. Like basically, he's done it once when the Watcher did it for him, but now he knows, he's aware of these other realities. So maybe now he's like, I got nothing but time. Well, with a guy with that much power and that much time on his hands, maybe he's like, I'm gonna go find another reality to hop into.
I'm gonna figure out how to hop into another reality.
I think it's a possibility. I won't say for sure no. I don't know that that's what it. I'm not tying my, self to that theory, but I think it's a decent theory. I think it's pretty interesting, and I'd be like, that's cool if that's what ends up happening, or in some way. I'd be interested to see that. I'd be interested to see how they pull it off. But I think the Mephisto angle does have some Skrull possibility. But can Skrull do magic like that? Because he lit the fire and he's doing the whole spell. So that's why I was resistant to like.
Well,
see, he's too good with the magic.
The only Strange that I could see being either the variant or the Skrull or whatever was the one on the train, the one in the sweatsuit with the cape on. I think that's going to be our. What do you want to call him? Your main timeline Strange, and maybe they run into this other Strange, this variant Strange elsewhere, because he doesn't have the cape. He's in the black suit and everything else, and it's like, okay, so, and maybe I didn't even think Skrull, because we touched on the Skrulls and Captain Marvel, and then they had. All the
WandaVision there was at the end.
Far From Home. There was some at the end credit scenes, and it was like, okay, well they've kind of touched on it, but it's not really. It's kind of been on the back burner kind of thing, and
I just don't see how they could do all the magic in that. I mean,
see, that's the other thing is if they
unless when they take over a body,
do they absorb the powers or do they copy?
I thought they were just shapeshifters.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought they could only mimic.
Like they are, and they had him. Oh, they had him in Party Thor episode. They all changed to look like Thor.
They wouldn't know. Yeah. You guys are right. They wouldn't know how to do the spells and everything and whatnot that Doctor Strange can do and everything if it was a Skrull. They'd have no idea.
But they are around. So there's Skrull things happening all over the place. So there's, I don't know. But I think that this guy is way too like magically potent to. He's like literally changing multiverse stuff and erasing minds and doing all kinds of stuff.
The Skrulls are too evolved, Chris. Like they don't even mess with mystic stuff and everything.
Yeah.
That's not even a part of their deal.
They're technologically, that's their power, technology based. Okay, yeah. But then, so again, this team that they put together, we got Party Thor, who immediately messes up the plan once they get to it. Like, I told you I was good at drawing unwanted attention. It's like, that's not, but like, okay. It was supposed to be like the next day or something. But then, they're all fighting Ultron, and there's a meme. I didn't save it, but there's like, so the Guardians of the Multiverse, they even do their toast, and Chadwick Boseman had his final part. And that was kind of great. But they're doing their toast. And it's like the Guardians of the Multiverse. And it's like Guardians of the Multiverse at 100% strength. And it's all of them. And then Guardians of the Multiverse at 99% strength. And it's just Evil Strange or Strange Supreme. And it's like, yeah, he puts the protection spell on it. Like, I'm pretty sure Captain Britain would have been dead. Like, pretty soon. Many times. Yeah, she was like, wow, not even a scratch. I was like, you're so lucky that he showed up and put invincibility spells on all of you. Oh man. And then he like eats that explosion and Ultron's like, what?
Yeah, I thought for a second there, I thought Mephisto was gonna come out because all those demons and everything, excuse me, all those demons and everything came out, and I was just like, whoa.
And they did have the when he's recruited, they have that scene where he steps out of the shadows and you can see like the purple eyes and then the eye in the middle of his forehead. So yeah, I thought there was some potential for something to go on there, but it just seems like he's the kind of the supreme being of his reality now, but it's an empty room. Congratulations, you're the only person. Yeah.
There's nothing in his reality right now.
Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking, yeah, there's no way he's just like, I'll just chill here for time, all of time. You know, it's strange. He's always messing with stuff. So and then this was good. Although I gotta say, and I think people have written articles about this, but I thought as soon as I saw the episode, I was like, dude, look at how absolutely tragically useless they just made Hawkeye. Hey, you know how your thing is shooting bow and arrow? Hey, Black Widow, anybody could do that. We don't know why he's doing that. You know, it's like, what? That was his whole thing. That was like his, and now he's dead. And they're like, we need someone else to shoot this arrow. And like 5 people are raising their hands. Like, I mean, fine, I guess. What happened to Hawkeye? Who cares?
Nobody likes Hawkeye anyway.
Are you kidding me? I couldn't believe that they went that hard at, like, no one considered that. But yeah, it was just like, Hawkeye's gone. I just have Widow do it. Like, what?
With this collar on, my superpower is just unbridled cancer. Give me a bow and arrow, I'm basically Hawkeye.
I mean, never has that rung more true than that. I was just like, come on.
If somebody was gonna use Hawkeye's bow or whatever and shoot it and whatnot, it would make sense that it would be Widow because they're buddies. You know what I mean? So like, you know, you never know. Maybe they were shooting the shit one night and like having some drinks and like she picked up the bow and started shooting some arrows one night.
And it's not like it's Thor's hammer. It's not like, well, why, no one can even pick that up. How did you do that? It's like, nah, I mean, he isn't just a guy, and it is pretty much, yes, he's very good with it, but she's also an assassin. She's probably trained with bows and arrows. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that she could do it. No, it's just It's like embarrassing for poor Hawkeye, that guy.
you know that trailer for Endgame, Chris, where you saw Thor and Captain Marvel came out and Thor put his hand up to catch Stormbreaker and it went by her hair or whatever. I was thinking when that happened the first time I saw it, I was like, she's gonna freaking catch the hammer.
Oh man, I'm glad she didn't, but I've seen some funny edits of that where it's like the hammer and then just smashes into her and like obliterates her. Like, there's some pretty good, and then he's just like, "Whoops." Do we have another one of those? No, Thor.
That's perfect.
So you know, what did you guys think of the overall? I guess the fight. What did you think?
So I had an issue. Because
he is a tissue.
I know. Give me a tissue. I got an issue. So they get together and they need the Soul Stone to power this. What you call it? This machine that's going to destroy the Stone Crusher, right?
Stone Crusher.
So I brought this up last week. I was like, okay, these Infinity Stones shouldn't work in all of these other realities, right? Because in the TVA, you know, they were just using them as paperweights. But now you get to the Stone Crusher, and it's like, oh, these won't crush his stones because they're not from this reality. And I'm like, well, then they shouldn't work the same way. There needs to be it works fine for this because we need this to happen, but not this over here because we got to have conflict. And it's like, how
do the Infinity Stones work?
How do they
However
work?
The writers need them to work.
They need the show to happen, so they make it work.
It happens. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. There's still some questions about that. Again, the whole thing with the Infinity Stones, people have brought it up. They're not supposed to work in other universes. The whole thing with the TVA. The only thing they say in the TVA is that they don't work there. They actually never said that they don't work in other timelines or other things like that. But they just don't work in the TVA. So potentially, and we even saw Doctor Strange using his time stone from his reality. And what happened to the other stones in his reality? You know, if everything shrunk down to this one,
they should still be there.
The stones disappear or like blah, blah, blah. But he's still got the time stone for whatever reason. But yeah, it's like time stone versus time stone. It's like, okay, whatever. Oh, sure, why not? You know, at this point, it's the what if, and I'm just kind of rolling with it. But I'm absolutely with you. There's no hard set rules with exactly what's up with these stones. Like, how do they work? I don't know. Again, however the writers need them to work.
And again with the Crusher, they kept saying right at and they never said why, but they kept saying right at the first of the battle, we need to get the Soul Stone. We got to get the Soul Stone. And I looked at Luke, who was watching with me. I'm like, what is so important about the Soul Stone? Why do they need it? And
That's
then,
what I think.
And then it came out later. Oh, well, we need the Soul Stone to run the Stone Crusher. And I was like, you could have said that a long time ago. It's still leaving me confused.
Well, I think also that something that might have to do with is that missing episode, which now I'm very interested to see, because that's probably where the Stone Crusher came from. We even saw them melting down an Infinity Gauntlet when she's taken away. So obviously before that, everything that led up to that happening,
They obviously had stones, because the Stone Crusher was hers. It was Gamora's.
Yeah, they had already, I assume, destroyed the stones in her universe or whatever, and that's why they didn't. Then it's like, and what was it? The machine is fixed to the stand, but it's still like it's running, and then why did it work at all for even a little bit? Let's not get bogged down in all of these types of questions. What happened. Deal with it. Okay.
It's me. I'm here. Just deal with it.
The fight was pretty sweet. I would have liked to see some Tony Stark. This is, of course, Sherlock Stark. If you've seen. Open the suit. Boom. I love it. I found some. That's a good one. But this one was one of my favorites. I gotta say though, when Killmonger took the stones, I just saw this meme and I started dying. We can fix the multiverse. I've also seen people defending Killmonger, because people are like, Tony Stark used the stones to save the universe or whatever. Hulk, used the stones, did a snap, and is a hero. Everyone's like, the Hulk saved all these people. Tony Stark saved all these people. Why is Killmonger wants to go fix the multiverse? Why is it so terrible that he gets it?
Because he always takes it too far.
Oh yeah, and it's like, because he's not. It's like Ultron almost. It's like, we're gonna have peace. I don't care how many men, women, and children have to die for me to achieve it. It's like,
well, even Thanos to that level. We're gonna have peace, and we're gonna have enough, genocide. We got genocide. We're gonna have peace, but we're gonna
right after I finish this genocide,
right,
we'll have the peace. After the storm comes the calm.
What was it? It was I'll sit back and let the galaxy thank me. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, the sound of a grateful universe. Easy, Brolin.
I like Josh Brolin.
Oh, I love him.
In fact, I watched The Goonies this weekend just to watch a very young Josh Brolin.
Oh, he's awesome. He's great. And you know what? It's crazy. He almost never went back into superhero movies after he did Jonah Hex. He had a terrible experience with the Jonah Hex, and he was. They were like, "Can you come back and be Thanos?" He's just like,
I forgot about that movie. Thanks a lot for reminding me about that.
A lot of people did. Thank goodness. Yeah. Josh Brolin's like, "Why did you bring that up?"
Dubstep's like pussies. You're so dark. You sure you're not from the DC universe? I love dubstep.
I love Deadpool, dude. I can't wait for Deadpool to get into the MCU and just start messing with people, dude. I wish he had been. I wish he could have been around and mess with Steve Rogers. And it's so funny because him and Chris Evans. Chris Evans was just in that movie, Free Guy that Ryan Reynolds did. Actually, he did it a while ago, but it didn't come out because it got delayed for COVID. It was just released. Anybody else seen Free Guy?
Yeah,
I'm not willing to shell out the $20 for the digital download just yet.
I thought it was great though. Okay, I hear that. Hey,
I did. It's Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
Well, and see, Ryan Reynolds, yes, I get that, but he's not $20 to me just yet.
That's blasphemy.
Hey,
I watched it with
every man has his price. And Ryan Reynolds is not $20. I'm sorry.
I watched it with my siblings. I watched it with my siblings and my parents. So together, we spent $20 as opposed to seeing in theaters where it would have been like $20 per person. So in that respect, for us, it was totally worth. That's why I'm a fan of the streaming thing. And I'll wait for. It's like, do you want to go see it in theaters? Like, I'll wait until it's available streaming and then pay $20, and then we can spend the other amount of money would have on like food or something. So there's benefits to it, but you don't get the theater experience.
You don't get to smell the popcorn.
Debbie,
Debbie, you don't count. You're an introvert anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Go out to those disgusting theaters with the slavering masses.
That's right.
That was funny. That was
I go
good.
to my theater here locally. There's never anybody there. It's always
nowadays,
there's like
usually.
two people or three people in every showing of a film I go to. So
Yeah, the last two movies I was forced to go see. I think there's less than 10 in the theater.
There was when I went to go see Venom, there was a lot of people in the theater, but there wasn't so many that like they do the reserved seating. So there wasn't so many that we didn't have. We didn't have to sit down in the front. We got to sit, kind of in our normal area. So
Sweet.
It was good.
well, they actually gave me great positioning for Venom 2 as far as like the assigned seats I was given. They were really nice. They were right in the center and like in the middle, like not up front and like not all the way in the back. And it was pretty good. It's too bad that Venom 2 kind of sucked, but like I enjoyed the view.
Hold that thought. We're gonna get into Venom 2 in just a second. Hey, calm down, Debbie. We're gonna get into it.
Settle down. She's like a little yippy dog.
Finish talking about what if first. I want to make sure we've covered everything.
Oh, did we lose Chris?
Oh, did we lose Chris?
Oh man, he's frozen.
Are they having storms up there again?
Well, back to what if or whatever, like he was saying, Debbie, I was going to ask you anyway. Overall, like, did you think that like it kind of sucked that they didn't have James Spader come back and do Ultron's voice? Did you know?
Yes.
Woo!
Oh, there he is.
Oh,
Yes, that sucked big time. I was so hoping to hear James Spader's voice, and I was thoroughly pissed. Now, in this episode, there was probably twice where whoever's doing the voice of Ultron came really close to sounding like James Spader, but
You know what?
the rest of the time he didn't.
I
but-
think I even would have been okay with them if they had Paul Bettany record all the lines and had James Spader record all the lines and kind of amalgamated their voices together to create the ultimate Ultron voice kind of thing. I would have been fine with that, so long as they had James Spader.
Yeah.
So long
Let's
as
pay two actors to do one job because we hate money. Yeah, right, guy. But no, I agree with what you're saying. I think that would have been awesome, or just to have James Spader alone. I was just I happened to be on YouTube as I am, and it was like Alan Shore from Boston Legal, and it's just some of his speeches that he does on there, and I was just like, this dude, this is why he works as Ultron. This guy, and the stuff that he does on that character as Alan, like as that. Nobody else could have played that role. He is such a creep in some parts of that. It's just like
he's a creep, he's egotistical, and he's a narcissist.
It's the exact same role as Blacklist.
Blacklist.
Yeah, it's the Blacklist.
I love him in the Blacklist.
Yeah, he's great. He's amazing.
And he's great in Boston Legal too. So
well, that's why
that
line. Oh, you got to. Oh, it's William Shatner
and James Spader.
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Where is
They're the best. We're flamingos.
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
I've never seen it, and I've just now started watching it, so I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Oh yeah. Oh, fantastic. I can't recommend that series enough. It's one of the few that I'll go back and just rewatch the entire thing because I'm just like, oh my God. And the background music too, I gotta say. It's like bow, 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 bow. Oh yeah! And so throughout the show, at different times, there'll be like some sad music, like or whatever, typical. But then there's other times where it's like, oh, whoa, about just like random stuff. I'm like, how did this show happen? I love it. I can't get enough. And it's great because anyway. Boston Legal has nothing to do with the MCU other than James Spader is in it. So we're gonna move on, but it's recommended. But yeah, James Spader. Oh, that line with when it's like, isn't this better than watching? And it's a lot less creepy on your part too. Like I was like that. If James Spader had delivered that would have been.
Oh, it would have been Emmys. They would have been throwing Emmys at him.
Take it.
Just take it. Just take it. I don't deserve it.
So good. I also think it's every time like Killmonger does something evil, that like the percussion starts in the background. Just like this is. That just gets me every time. I wish they had start playing and someone would just turn around and be like, "Does anybody else hear that? I think Killmonger's being evil." I can observe everything. Wait, did you hear that? I think Killmonger's about to betray us. And he does, basically.
I didn't like the inconsistency with the power levels and stuff like that. Like especially with Ultron with the Infinity Stones. You know, like at one point, T'Challa Star-Lord like picks him up and physically and like throws him in the ground or whatever, and like is on top of him and everything, and like he's actually physically like mixing it up with Ultron with the Infinity Stones, and he's just a human being. Yeah. And you know, like I mean, like when Thanos had the Infinity Stones, he basically like just bitch slapped Captain America, like what up real quick, you know, on him, and like was done with them. So I mean, so the fact that Peggy Carter could like land blows on him and whatnot, Ultron with the Infinity Stones, just didn't make any sense to me, really. I don't care. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think part of that was because, like, again, Strange put spells on all of them. Yeah. So again, with that, you know, Strange is like 90% of this team right now. They would have been, yeah. So that's probably part of it. But I agree with you. There's some incredible inconsistencies. Like when he was fighting the Watcher, he bit a galaxy, and he tried to do it again this time. And Doctor Strange was like, "No, I'll just eat that attack." And it's like, how powerful is Doctor freaking Strange? Is he more powerful than the Watcher at this point? Like, what? Yeah, what are the power levels? And you get some of those Dragon Ball Z like scanners, be like, "Oh my God, he's over 9,000,
10,000. That's impossible."
Ah! At least they didn't have to spend an entire episode just going before they're like, "All right, let's fight." I'm charging my power.
You know what? Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm like way out on a limb, but I honestly think that if you go back and think about the episode with Doctor Strange, where I think it was week 3 or 4, I can't remember, where 4, where he was consuming all those like mystic entities and like, you know, other like Sorcerer Supremes and stuff like that, and he spent, you know, hundreds of years or whatever at Cagliostro's library and everything. Like he was probably playing around with the Darkhold and like the freaking Shumagorath, basically every mystical book probably out there that's like powerful in the MCU universe would have been there. So it actually does make kind of sense in a way that he would be more powerful than the Watcher at this point. You know, like I think it would actually kind of make sense.
I don't even know. I don't know how powerful the Watcher is supposed to be. Like, and I mean, mostly he does just watch, but then he went Super Saiyan. Like he literally did the transformation.
He went Super Saiyan.
He got his, you know, he almost had his entire skull incinerated by Ultron grabbing him, and it's like, yeah, I don't know how. But I guess what's important to remember is also, technically, neither Killmonger nor even Ultron, even though now it's like Armin Zola Ultron, it's not like they were beaten. They're not dead. They're just trapped. That means they could be untrapped potentially. I mean, they're not.
Maybe evil Doctor Strange will untrap them to try and absorb them.
Season 2 of What If, or sooner. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see.
Spider-Man.
Maybe.
Well, that's what's going to happen in Doctor Strange 2 with Shumagorath. He's going to basically be untrapped, like he's going to be unlocked from his prison or whatever, and he's going to pop up in our reality, I believe.
I'm so excited for that. I can't even wait. When is it? March?
It's a long ways.
So, although, I mean, I will admit Spider-Man will be a nice tide me over, but oh man, Doctor Strange 2 is going to be insane.
Dude, Shumagorath used to be in the Conan comic books back in the day. I used to read them when I was a kid, and those were some bomb comic books, dude. I used to love Conan.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, it's a mythical demon thing, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense, yeah. So anything else on season finale What If? Oh, how about like the end credits scene? What what's her face goes back to her. Captain Britain goes back to the boat or whatever where Black Widow is, and they find something on the ship, and in the ship it's the Hydra Stomper, and there's someone inside, decrepit, 90-year-old,
Steve,
tiny little Steve Rogers, not even like super. I mean, this guy has got to be a raisin. I don't know. Do you think, or alternatively, do you think he's going to be Winter Soldierized?
Well, Hydra had him for a little bit there. So
and he died on the train like Bucky did in the Captain Britain episode. So
start reading off a list of random numbers and phrases.
Well,
freaking out.
I like what they did with Black Widow at the end. I like how the Watcher kind of showed his humanity a little bit when he like placed her in that other reality where the Black Widow died. I thought that was kind of touching, and I thought it was a kind of a good way to kind of close out, the episode in a way.
I guess, should he still call himself the Watcher? Because now he doesn't just
he's the interferer.
Yeah,
it's
look out for this guy.
It's always inevitable that a Watcher is going to end up. If you think about it, he's going to have to break his oath at some point, because if the multiverse itself gets potentially destroyed, there'd be nothing to watch.
Nothing's on. Why did you let the multiverse get destroyed? So many infinite channels, and you just said the hell with it.
Okay, so there was one Watcher for the multiverse, but we know that there's multiple Watchers. So are there multiple multiverses?
He's on to us. Scram!
Somebody turn scanners on, because my head's about to explode.
Yeah, it's again, whatever the writers need it to be.
Well, I thought What If was all right overall as a series. It was a nice mix up, a nice change of pace from the live action, and obviously it doesn't stack up to like anything that I've seen with the Disney Plus series other than What If. I think What If is probably like down at the bottom of my list out of the 4 as far as like how much I liked it. But still, I like the fact that they took a chance and did something different. Marvel did again, just like they kind of did with WandaVision, just like they done with all the Disney Plus series. Overall, it was watchable entertainment. It wasn't like the best thing I ever saw, but it was pretty cool.
I like the idea that the way that it was drawn, the art form that was used was it looked like a comic book. It looked like it was, hey, this is, we're Marvel. We make comic books, and this is what they look like. So,
yeah, like there were some shots, and even there's slight movement still happening. You could see it, like that scene where Clint is dying or about to die, and he's going into the robots. There's like the frame where they hold it on him. Yeah, and it's moments like that is when I really appreciated the art style. Because at first I was looking at it and I was like, I'm not completely on board with this. Like, I know it's animated. Not everyone likes every style of animation, but that's pretty close. It was like, I was like, this is dangerously close to like Star Wars Resistance. Terrible. And so, but when I started
nowhere near that crap,
when I just saw it at first, I was like, this is kind of close. But then seeing it in action, I was like, thankfully not. Because I hate that. There's also like a Netflix show that has but it's a style that's coming around more and more, partially because I think it's done on computers and easier for them to do it that way. Yeah. But I ended up liking the animation style, and I've liked the live action shows better overall. I'm more invested in this was fun though. I mean, I'm not mad at it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know anything about the What If comic series, but it was enjoyable. It was just fun to not really think too much about what was going on. It's fun to come up with theories because that's what I do. But it was just fun to watch and relax, and it made me laugh. I like the animation style. Is nowhere near Resistance. Thank you very much. But
It's more like Resistance than it is like Dragon Ball Z. If we're comparing animation styles, Debbie, and I'm pretty sure I said it's not. So let's take a step back.
Good thing we don't live in the same state, Chris.
Put on my rolling up my sleeves over here. It's like, all right, I'll be out of here. We're gonna fight.
You're gonna meet in the parking lot after the show.
Tracking you down. Oh, let's see. Is that?
Oh, well, I'm sure you probably heard that article already. I'm sure Chris and probably everybody here has probably already heard that article that came out where Marvel Studios said that they have 25 projects that are like in the mill, like they're in the process of planning that are going to be coming out in the future. You got to figure out of that 25, some of that's got to be animated. Like
yeah.
Even
if they bring back the like on Disney Plus, they've got the. What is it? It's Avengers Assemble, and then there was what's the series after it?
Legends.
Was it Legends? And those are good. I enjoyed those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were all right.
I mean,
I will be talking for myself. This is an open and shut case, and anybody who can't see that is a savage and an idiot.
Okay.
So glad I made that.
That is us to a T.
Every time that they get addicted to crack is like the best episode for me. I love it. It's awesome.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. What a show. They're still going too. I love it. In fact, the last episode they did the last season was basically a metaphor for them doing the show and then splitting off to do their own side projects. And it's a game of laser tag. But it's like, you guys can't keep just spinning off into nowhere. We've got to stay here. We got to work as a team. And then they act like they're just going to like abandon it. And it's like, wow, I was like, wow, is this a final episode? And then they come back and ambush this kid. And they're like, we'll never stop. We will be on top forever. And I was just like, oh God, I love them. I love the gang. So yeah, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think they've been shooting the newest season if it's not already. But yeah, I love that shit too. Anyway, let's get into that Venom 2. We heard from Debbie and David last week. They enjoyed it. I saw it. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed this one. But Jeff, you didn't like it. Is that what not a fan?
Yeah,
Did you like the first one?
Yeah, the first one was all right. I think the first one was better than the second one. I just, at the end of the night when the movie was over, my take on it was basically that it just didn't really impact me at all, other than the end credits scene with Spider-Man and the multiverse angle and everything. That got me going a little bit, and I was like, oh shit, like this is intense. But other than that, there wasn't a single aspect of the film that stood out to me to where it actually like connected with me at all, really, on any level. Like,
so you could have saved like 2 hours and just been
I mean, like, honestly,
give me that end credit scene.
Maybe I'm just too curious or whatever, but the whole dynamic between the symbiote Venom and Eddie Brock, like during the movie, for me almost became like too farcical to where like I couldn't enjoy it almost. Like and I wanted Venom to be more dark. I wanted it to be more graphic. I wanted it to be like Netflix, like Daredevil type shit.
Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying there. I think part of Venom, though, is that, like, even in the comics of what I've seen of him, there is a humorous side. It's like a dark humor. But, yeah, and that interaction between him and I really like that in the first movie, I gotta say.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm going to eat your brains, yada, yada, yada humor. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like savage looking in the comics when he does that kind of stuff. So
this wasn't violent enough for you?
No, that's exactly what one of my main issues was just that there was kind of light on action a little bit for me, and the final fight or the final battle of the film between Carnage and Venom was kind of I don't know, whatever to me. It didn't really do anything for me, honestly. Some of the visual stuff when like Carnage took on those helicopters and stuff like that was pretty neat. But overall, I think that the digital effects and the special effects and everything with Carnage and like the suits were great. That part was great. It's just the story itself. The Shriek character didn't do anything for me. They didn't really do much with the secondary characters.
So for you, the story didn't grab you. He's got his Spider-Man right there. Look at that. So the story didn't grab you. It wasn't violent enough. Now, David, I want to hear a bit from you about the movie again, like your thoughts, what you just thought of that, because I know you're a Spider-Man fan, a Venom fan, a Carnage fan, and so what do you think about what Jeff just said there?
I'll agree with it to some extent. The party scene where he went to the rave, I think that was worthless, completely and utterly worthless. No, it wasn't hilarious. I was at some point I was looking at it going, this is stupid now. I feel like I'm losing brain cells watching this. I mean, it was like, what are you doing?
Who's they? What the hell is an aluminum falcon?
That's right.
What's going on? Why is this happening?
Venom has been screaming the entire movie, I want to eat brains, I need to eat brains, I need to eat brains. And then he goes to a party where there's literally thousands of brains, and he gets up on the stage and does a little speech. I'm like, oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Bad movie maker people.
Do you think it should have been more violent than it was? Would you have liked to see it? How did you think they did with the violence? Because there was violence. I'm not saying there wasn't any violence, but it's definitely not on like and that Daredevil, again, rewatching that and Punisher, heavy on the blood, heavy on like all kinds of stuff like that. You just see people sitting in piles of gore. I didn't even remember that, but then I was like, you watch the opening thing, it's like, that's blood, that's dripping, that's the whole opening title sequence. I was like, yeah, should have seen that coming, I guess. But yeah, it is much, but it's also much darker. Like there's a lot less humor also in Daredevil. I'm not saying there isn't any humor, but it's definitely not even close. So do you think it should have been more violent? Do you think they should have?
I think
what was this rated?
It was PG-13.
Right.
I think if it had been more violent, they probably would have pulled the R rating and they would have lost audience. And that's probably what they were trying to avoid.
Yeah. PG-13 will allow them to make more money off the film in most cases.
I mean, you can say the F-bomb once in a PG-13 movie, and they did. They took it all the way to the edge. But I think if they had used that F-bomb plus made it a little more violent than what it was, I think they would have said nope, R rating, we're rating it R just because of that.
And what did you think? I'm actually gonna ask Debbie first, and I want to hear from Jeff. But what did you think of the performances of the main two? Let's say Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson. Debbie.
Well, you know what I'm going to say about Tom.
He's hot.
That's right.
Acting ability doesn't even matter.
No, he's a great actor. I love him. My only complaint, I think they, and nothing against Woody. I think they could have made him, and I said this in the last episode, they could have made him much more psychotic because
they could have picked somebody younger too.
I knew I was going to say, David thinks he was too old for the role. So
he's too old.
He's too old. I love Woody too, but he's getting up there. It's tough.
That was my really main disappointment was Carnage or Cletus, whatever, both of them. They weren't as psychotic and violent as I was expecting.
Okay. So yeah, that's kind of also what Jeff was saying about it. And, if they had gone for the, that they would have gotten the R rating. And so it's tough decisions to make. I think I agree. I would have liked to see it taken to an R rating, but I can also see how that's going to cut your audience down so much.
Mm-hmm. And especially because you're dealing with Venom and it's not Spider-Man, but he's in the Spider-Man universe. Right. And the younger kids love Spider-Man. And if you throw Spider-Man and you put him in an R-rated movie, you're going to lose half your audience. And that's a big audience.
Big chunk of change.
Yeah.
So Jeff,
that's a good point.
What did you think about the actors' performances, Woody and Tom Hardy. How'd you think they did?
Well, I mean, I would go right off of what I basically thought the same thing that Debbie thought about the thing about as far as Cletus Cassidy went in the film. I felt like they didn't go psychotic enough with the character, or like make him more psychotic, or make him more crazy. I felt like they should have done more flashbacks and like shown him killing his mother and like, you know, like stuff like that. Now, again, that probably wouldn't have flown with the PG-13. You know what I mean? And I get that and everything. I totally get where David's coming from. You know, of course, like from a business perspective, the viability of the film itself is a very important, you know, factor. But I feel like as far as trying to be comic book accurate, you know, bringing it home with David as far as like Spider-Man goes, I feel like, you know, they weren't able to make Woody's Cletus. I don't think it was Woody's fault necessarily. I think it was just the story or what they gave him to work with. What they had him doing in the story just didn't come off in a way where he was like really crazy, you know, insane, you know, to the level that like I would want him to be, I guess. Go ahead.
Would you say, so you're saying it's not that necessarily that he was too old?
No.
David, that's what he'll say.
He's too old.
He's too old.
No.
So it's not necessarily that,
He's too
but it's
old
just
to complete
the
the
movie
training.
that he was.
No, I mean, if you look at the comics and how Cletus was depicted in the comics, you can see like how Woody Harrelson in the movie would look similar to like the comic book Cletus. I mean, so the age doesn't really make any difference to me, and I like Woody as an actor. And I think he was all right. I mean, I just think that the story and the secondary characters didn't really support him or set him up, you know, in a way that or elevated him where he could have. And then I also kind of feel like with Tom Hardy, I love him as an actor too. He's great. Everything he's in is great, and I thought he was fun to watch in the movie. But again, it wasn't really so much Tom Hardy. It was the dialogue and the story for me where it really kind of lost me. You know, again, I guess when it boils down to it, the reason why I like the darker parts of like the upcoming MCU with the Punisher and Ghost Rider and Blade and, you know, Morbius is because I like the fact that stuff has to be done rated R. You know what I mean? Like you have to do Ghost Rider rated R to do him properly. You have to do Punisher rated R to do it effectively. And I like that. I like that kind of stark violence and like blood. I like the Daredevil effect.
And people will say, oh, absolutely. I'm 100% with you. I mean, it doesn't need to be, but one of my favorite films, Logan, like, boom. Thank God they did that R-rated. And like, how did you do so many Wolverines like before ever doing an R-rated? Well, he's also part of the X-Men, blah, 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 blah. But this is just singly about Wolverine. And there have been some other ones, like the one where he went to Japan. There was violence in there, but it wasn't as like explicit. Someone gets shot and they just, you know, full, but it's not like you don't see everything so much.
But you know what the difference there is, and you're right. The X-Men is a big seller, and especially among the young kids. But as far as the Wolverine movies go, you had X-Men Origins Wolverine. You had X-Men tie-in. You had
that whole movie isn't terrible, but there are lots of individually terribly moments in it.
Then you had the Wolverine. You had Wolverine. And that's the character from the X-Men. When you did Logan, there wasn't really any, I mean, unless you knew what they were talking about, there was really no tie to...
Except when they literally put up the comics.
Well, yeah, but... I'm just saying, as far as a kid's going to look at a title...
You're a fan of the X-Men. No, I'd be like, yeah, this is the title and the poster.
They're going to look at the title and go, oh, it's the Wolverine. Oh, I want to go see it. And they're going to look at Logan.
Because he's not in the costume. They actually even... That's the point of the comics in the thing, is he's like, this isn't real. This ain't real life, kid.
Yeah.
I don't know what thoughts Charles put in your head. But, so I ain't who you think I am, all right?
So you're able to get away with an R rating there. And I mean, honestly, too, it's not... Logan is not them running around in their tights fighting Magneto. So, I mean, honestly, what kids are going to really want to see it?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and, yeah, absolutely. And not every... People are like, but it's a comic... It's for kids. It's a comic book character. Not just because it's a comic book does not mean, oh, that's for children. There are plenty of adult comic book, adult themes that like graphic novels. Those are like, you know, that's
the Watchmen. Watchmen. Holy crap!
Boom. And like, yes, there's some crazy stuff. Oh, what's another one? That
300 300 was one.
300 was a graphic novel, but there's a new one coming, like The Sandman. That one's gonna be nuts. That's gonna be crazy, dude. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, that's not for children. That's not for kids. Yes, there are superheroes, but there are also very much superheroes that use adult humor or murder people in a way, like they're anti-heroes, villains, thing like the Joker, Deadpool. Deadpool, 100% Deadpool. Like, could they do PG-13 Deadpool? Like, I'd like to see Deadpool show up in other things that are PG-13 and be limited by like the fact that he's in a PG-13 movie. Like they did that episode of Ultimate Spider-Man with him in it, and it was really great. He wasn't allowed to say kill people, so he kept saying like, we have to go not alive those guys. Wait, not alive them. And so like, yeah, he's constricted by the universe he's in. But if it's a Deadpool movie, make it rated R. That's
no, because they did Once Upon a Deadpool, and that was hilarious.
Yeah, well, fine. You can have an edited version if you want. But
it was great.
Deadpool is not for like the kids, and if you make a version like that, that's great. But I want to see the like rated R one. I want to see gratuitous violence. I want to see it now. Again, can you do the other version? Yeah, if you want to, and you want to try and make some more money, and that's something you can do, go for it. But don't just make that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, forget about it. But yeah, there's a lot of darker character. Blade's coming up. They're introducing that.
I think that one's rated R too. I think that's what they're talking about.
Gotta be. Again, like Jeff was saying, there's some characters out there with Punisher, Blade. You've got to do them rated R. Like, if you want to do it justice. Can you do it where it's not? Yes, but again, if you're making big budget movies about these characters, you should kick it up a notch.
I'm worried about how Moon Knight is going to end up coming out, to be honest.
Moon Knight
on Disney Plus.
No, Moon Knight,
and that's
Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah,
great actor, and you'll hear me hate on the Star Wars sequels all day, but he's a great actor.
Now wait a minute, you brought that up, but you intentionally avoided X-Men Apocalypse. Come on,
X-Men Apocalypse.
That was him all too. I mean,
I don't have any clips of X-Men Apocalypse.
He looks good. He looks good in Dune. He looks epic in Dune.
He does look good in Dune. But X-Men Apocalypse, that wasn't his fault. It was. I mean, look, those X-Men films started spinning out of control. They did the whole Phoenix again so soon after the original X-Men 3, and you don't even have somebody going on the Juggernaut, bitch. Like that was. At least that was like, I'm going to see that movie just to see that again. Yeah, let's do. Come on, but and Apocalypse, that was ridiculous. I felt bad for him. It's like, you know how much makeup he had to get in to do that, and he's actually getting in the makeup. Unlike the chick playing Mystique, who's like, I don't like having to do all the makeup. And I was like, oh, is that why you always just look like yourself? You idiot! God, Jennifer Lawrence,
lazy.
Take up the character actor. If you don't want to put the freaking makeup on. Get the original actress who did Mystique from the first one. She was hotter anyway.
Rebecca Romaine before she got Stamos.
And that was also one of the best things about the third film is when they inject her and she's like, naked. And I was like, thank you. It's like if they had done that to Venom and like suddenly Tom Hardy's just naked and Debbie would be like, thank you.
I wouldn't be here because my mind would just be exploded.
Oh, Tom Hardy, you're my hero.
You see, I have a running theme with men I like, so
it's Tom Hardy and Mephisto. Can't figure out
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston, Ryan Reynolds, Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford's getting a bit craggy.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Lines. All right. Hey, right on.
I've been in love with Harrison Ford since 1975, so don't even go there.
American Graffiti.
Yes.
Talking about having a man crush on somebody.
Yeah. What I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about.
That guy gave me hemorrhoids though, so Justin Hammer. Gotta love him. Here, let me get this one for Debbie. That's the sweet stuff. Oh, that's how I like to look at Tom Hiddleston.
Chris, wait, you
Mouth
guys have to see this meme I'm working on right now. It's a couple of I think Haitians trying to sneak across the border
Oh
illegally.
God!
And they're in like a canal or whatever. They're in the river, and they're on this like ghetto ass raft that's like falling apart or whatever, like laying on it to like get across the water. And
Refugees in their crappy rafts.
Yeah, I'm gonna add text to it that's gonna say disappointed Wakandans leaving Wakanda after they find out that Shuri is cast as Black Panther.
Oh yikes! Yeah, we'll see. I don't even know what's gonna happen with that film. That's so unfortunate. The Chadwick Boseman. I would have loved to see like 2 more films with Chadwick. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I bet they would have been excited to do it too. Like, we love money, and this guy, like,
I don't think anybody could ever be a better Black Panther than him.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Like, that's definitely big shoes to fill. That's one hell of a leotard, cat suit.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's like saying who's gonna be Iron Man now. Who's gonna be Iron Man?
Oh yeah, people are furious.
Sam Wilson. It'll be Tom Cruise.
Chadwick Boseman has had moments in the MCU that are just epic.
Yeah.
I mean, Captain America: Civil War. You get introduced in that. That's nice.
Oh, do you remember people's faces? Like when you would see the trailer reactions of like people watching the Ultron trailers and whatnot, and they'd see Black Panther, people would be flipping out, especially Black people. They would just be like going nuts.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was definitely a cultural, like that movie didn't just make $1 billion. Just like, that's not a mystery. It's like, do we have any Black superheroes? It's like, well, there's Rhodey, and it's like, he's a sidekick. He's a sidekick. Again,
sidekick.
At that point, now he's Captain America. But at that point, it's like, oh, here's my Black sidekick. It's like a Black best friend on a sitcom. It's like, good thing we got that. You know, it's not as good as being like, oh, here's the main. You know, I get it. And now you have Latino people are excited about Salma Hayek, and she went out and she was like, it's so hard for us to get cast in a superhero. I couldn't believe this happened. And I was like, you get cast in stuff all the time. This doesn't seem like that crazy of a what's crazier to me is that they completely gender swapped the character from a man to a woman, and that is like, that seems
like what's Miss Marvel is
Latino.
Muslim.
No.
She's
Muslim.
She's
Muslim.
She's from Pakistan.
Middle Eastern.
Something, yeah.
Oh shoot!
You're thinking Monica Rambeau?
No.
Oh yeah.
She's
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, Miss Marvel is she's from Pakistan, I think, or India, and she lives in where the hell does she live? She lives in Jersey City, I think, or where does she live in Jersey?
I'm not up on her. I just know like her deets are she's a big Captain Marvel fan, and now she has superpowers, and it's like, what? And I think what the show got changed from like Captain Marvel 2 to like now it's the Marvels.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's going to include Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel. It's going to be marvelous.
And Shazam. Because he was Captain Marvel too.
Captain Marvel. Shazam!
Don't you forget it.
Dude, he can't. The crazy thing is, when they change, like, he could say, I'm Captain Marvel, but he can't introduce himself as Shazam. Hi, my name's Shazam. I mean, crap, now I'm Billy Batson again. Shazam! What's your name again? Shazam!
No, the best part would, he's flying at 30,000 feet. He's flying next to Superman. Superman says, hey, what's your name? Shazam. Ah, crap!
Got him again. Classic Superman. Alrighty. Well, I should have had that up. We were talking about Venom. Here it is. Hey, look. Late. Now that we're done talking about Venom. So, Venom, we saw, I can see Jeffrey coming back. Like, for me, it was kind of like a popcorn flick. I see what you're saying about not being like invested in it. Like, there wasn't necessarily too much to be invested until like the end credit scene. And then it's like, well, now I'm invested in that, but this is over now. damn it.
Well, actually, I mean, honestly, I was on a date that night too, and that's what I usually do with these MCU or like Sony or whatever superhero films. I usually make them into dates or involve them into having a date. And I was like, actually more concerned about the like really weird spontaneous decision I made for the first time in my life to actually hold a woman's hand before we went into the movie theater, which was like very awkward. I'm never going to do it again. She didn't like it. It did not work. She flat out told me afterwards that it was awkward as shit for her.
Boom.
And so I'm never doing it again, Debbie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm done with that.
Live and you learn.
So I was more concerned with like how I wasn't going to get laid that night based off the whole hands thing than I was with Venom.
Well, I hear that. Yeah, absolutely.
He had other things on his mind.
Not spontaneously hold some chick's hand like that ever again, like I did, because it's definitely a buzzkill.
I just quote Star Wars at them until they leave. So
I tried that, and she married me.
I'm looking for it, my friend. But yeah, that's a toughie. I think that about wraps it up for us today on MCU Mondays. You guys got anything else you want to throw out there?
That would have been a good meme, Chris. If you would have had the video of me grabbing her hand, and you could have like made somebody laughing in the background to it or whatever. Yeah,
I think that was as close as I had on hands.
I was gonna say it had hands in it.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So many clips. But yeah. That about does it for us here on MCU Mondays. We'll be back next week at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We're here every week to talk all about Marvel, what's going on in the Marvel verse, specifically the MCU. But as you can tell, we were talking about like is it connected to Marvel? We're talking about it. So we're excited to be here. And congratulations again to Jeff of MCU's Bleeding Edge on his joining into the Geek News Now fold. That was awesome. Didn't see that coming. Had no idea that was going to happen. But
I appreciate that from you too. I do.
I'm glad that you're here. Another again great episode. Looking forward to having you on again in the future. And in the meantime, it's a good ending. Oh, this is a good one.